Meet Alex and Lizzie Varnador, and no, you're not seeing double. Identical twins putting in 25 hours or more a week at Aiken Gymnastics, and doing it at the highest level. They're a bit competitive against each other, but not overly so.
We don't really, when she beats me or I beat her, it doesn't really bother me, but it's just a good competition. Because I feel like if she makes something, then I have to make it too, so we stay on the same level.
Lizzie actually has a little catching up. Last year in level 9, it was Alex winning the state all-around. Nailing the bar routine was the thing she remembers most. Being identical can even cause problems for judges at meets on occasion.
Happens a couple times in the year. We look exactly the same. Our hair's the same and everything. They just have to figure out that we're twins.
They actually fell in love with gymnastics when they were 5, a birthday party at the gym. They've been going back ever since.
I just like moving around, jumping around, just being free and doing what I want.
At 14, the Varnadors are just reaching their prime for gymnastics. The goals for the upcoming season, as you may have guessed, they're identical.
One of the goals is to make nationals next year, so more colleges can look at me. I want colleges to look at me and be thinking about for college to recruit me and eventually be a college gymnast.
Fencing, a sport of speed, agility, and grace. A sport that can take years to master. Well, maybe not for Elizabeth Hong.
How old are you?
8.
Yup, 8 years old, and Coach Rudy Volkman sees some of the intangibles.
Without wanting to jinx it, she's still very young. Things change.
Sure.
But certainly at her age, she has the it factor.
Hong started less than a year ago and seems to be a natural. Like any kid, she was nervous at first.
I thought I'm gonna get hurt with the sword, but after found out we have armor, I started to feel very good.
She's also a quick learner.
It's a wonderful combination of she likes it, so she works harder, and then she works harder, so she's better, and then she likes it more because she's better. So it's just keeps rolling.
What's your favorite part?
Getting to jab people with the swords.
Of course an 8-year-old would say that. Elizabeth, she also has a trait most that age don't have. Focus.
By the second class, it became apparent that this was one focused little girl.
As a coach, you had to be licking your chops on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, I've got one. Just she's a real winner.
Hong hasn't really been in any competitions yet, and that will come later this year. Volkman is anxious to see how she'll react.
I want to have fun, and I still want to do fencing. I love it.
Is it kind of fun to beat the boys?
Yes.
Of course it is, and the sky appears to be the limit.
I never once thought I would play kickball over the age of 20.
Not since, maybe if you asked me in elementary school, maybe. But now it's just a blast.
A blast indeed. Kickball for adults, really? Can it get any better?
What was funny is the minute I would talk to people, they got so excited. You saw that childlike excitement in their eyes, and here we are now.
Through the Augusta Sports League, kickball and other non-traditional sports have been growing quickly. Around 150 people playing kickball alone. When you can have cool shirts and great team names, can't beat that.
I mean, it's really all about socializing. Kickball, I really enjoy the sport, but generally most of these things are just about getting the community together and having a lot of fun.
While the smiles are endless, don't let it fool you. Games are very competitive.
Last summer, a guy dislocated his shoulder out in the outfield.
Another girl in the last tournament in the winter broke her nose from somebody running into her and hitting her. I mean, there's a lot of competitive spirit.
That's the exception, certainly not the norm, as kickball has become a kick in the pants.
One of our friends said, hey, there's actually a league where they have the legit, kickball and stuff. That's my dad, and he also plays kickball on our team along with my brother and my sister. And so kind of a family thing.
He will go down as one of the greatest to put on the white and blue of Augusta University.
I jokingly said there's a Mount Rushmore of Augusta basketball, and those guys will know my single names, AJ, Garrett, Ben, and Keyshawn.
Keyshawn Sherrill's impact has been immeasurable with the Jags, and it all started playing with his brother, KJ. Being a foot shorter than KJ also forced Keyshawn to develop the shot he has.
Playing against KJ, who's been tall all his life, 6'7", 6'8", and then my eldest brother, he's 6'2", 6'3", so you have to, first of all, you have to elevate and shoot over him, and then you have to have, the right touch.
Sherrill has over 2,000 points in his career, second most in school and Peach Belt Conference history. Every now and then, he takes a look at the school's all-time scoring board.
It's just an honor and a blessing to be a part of that list. So every time I look up there, I just smile. Sometimes I get teary-eyed.
Learning when to score and when to dish the ball hasn't always come easy, and the Jags exhibition game against Division I Wichita State was a prime example.
Playing the second half, got into the lane, and I dished it off, and I think got deflected. Looked over there at the bench, and Dip told me to shoot the damn ball. Yes, sir.
This has never happened. After the game, 2 fans emailed me by the time we got back and said we should have given him a standing ovation when he left the arena. That's strong from an arena that gets a lot of basketball.
Now the end of the journey comes Saturday with the home finale, and it's been quite the ride.
It's crossed my mind, sometime this week, but I know Friday night, and then Saturday morning, it's going to hit me.
Any given day at the Canal, you may cross paths with Pardon Glovu. He'll be running, and running. After all, he's now an Olympic marathoner.
They started sinking in, I think, a week later when they actually started asking about traveling arrangements. At that point, that's when it's kind of hit me like, wow, we're actually going to Rio.
His path to Rio hasn't been easy. Back home in Zimbabwe, his running career started with something we all take for granted: shoes.
I ran barefoot for the most part when I was back home, just because we couldn't afford to buy shoes. If you wanted to buy running shoes, I actually had to go to another country in South Africa.
It certainly didn't hold him back.
You're standing in the line with with other kids or other athletes from private schools, and they're wearing shoes, and you're like, oh, well, I'm barefoot, your shoes are going to hold you back, and I'm going to be faster because I'm barefoot, nothing's going to hold me back.
Glovu was hoping to get a Division I scholarship. His grades weren't there and ended up at UNC Pembroke. That's when the Olympic dreams started to take hold.
That's when the conversation of, going to the Olympics started at Pembroke, because I think, I had a coach that saw a greater potential than what I had. So, let's just try, and see what happens.
Distance running is mental as much as physical, and Glovu has been focusing on that.
The mental aspect is a little harder because you can just sit there. You're not there yet. So you're just preparing your mind. Say, okay, well, when this happens, what's going to happen? And most of it, actually, I do it on my runs.
His goals for the Olympic marathon? To be one of the best.
I think the first tier will be, top 10 will be great. That's the first tier. The second tier, top 15 will be great. And the third tier, top 25. Okay. Top 25 will be great. So, finish top 25 in the world at the Olympics, I'll be happy about it.
But after 44 years of coaching, I have finally decided that it is time for me to retire.
And with those words, 4+ decades, 477 wins, and 11 state championships later, Lincoln County's Larry Campbell has hung up his whistle, a decision based mostly on family.
I don't want to make the mistake of with my grandchildren that I made with my children. I never hardly ever seen my children because I was working 7 days a week, working on game plans and thinking winning football games was the most important thing in the world. And I've been taught a lesson that is not the case.
Even though he's not so sure about his wife.
I'm not sure she's behind her retirement yet. I don't know if she's ready to put up with me.
Or his grandson.
Campbell, I'm thinking about retiring. Coach, you got to coach me. He's in the 3rd grade.
Campbell's the winningest coach in Georgia football. His lone losing season, his first in 1972. The first state title, 1976. The players carrying him onto the field. The last 2, back-to-back in 05 and 06.
State championships isn't that way. I had many a football coach out there, excellent football coaches out there that's never had the opportunity to win one. So I really know what it feels like, and they get more special the older I get, without a doubt.
His legacy has no boundaries. Former Red Devil star Garrison Hurst was on hand today and knows firsthand the lessons came off the field as much as on.
His thing was, if you can make it through some of the things we're asking you to do, things in life you'll get to, and you'll be able to push through some of them. And that's been his teaching method for years. And I just hate to see that part leave because a lot of the kids, they need it.
He made his final decision Monday and let the players know this morning it wasn't easy.
It was tough. There's some good kids there and some good football players there, and it's difficult after 44 years to give it up.
Campbell admits he has no hobbies. He has his cows. Says he'll be at the games just sitting on the visitor side to make it easier on everyone else. As far as the future, he does leave the door open a little bit.
Someday if I, had that desire again, I probably could hook on as an assistant or something, but right now I have no intentions of coaching again.
He will go down as one of the greatest to put on the white and blue of Augusta University.
I jokingly say this, there's a Mount Rushmore of Augusta basketball, and those guys will know my single names, AJ, Garrett, Ben, and Keyshawn.
Keyshawn Sherrill's impact has been immeasurable with the Jags, and it all started playing with his brother, KJ. Being a foot shorter than KJ also forced Keyshawn to develop the shot he has.
Playing against KJ, who's been tall all his life, 6'7", 6'8", and then my eldest brother, he's 6'2", 6'3", so you have to, first of all, you have to elevate to shoot over him, and then you have to have, the right touch.
Sherrill has over 2,000 points in his career, second most in school and Peach Belt Conference history. Every now and then, he takes a look at the school's all-time scoring board.
It's just an honor and a blessing to be a part of that list. So every time I look up there, I just smile. Sometimes I get teary-eyed.
Learning when to score and when to dish the ball hasn't always come easy, and the Jags' exhibition game against Division I Wichita State was a prime example.
Playing the second half, got into the lane, and I dished it off, and I think got deflected. Looked over there at the bench, and Dip told me to shoot the damn ball. Yes, sir.
This has never happened. After the game, 2 fans emailed me by the time we got back and said we should have given him a standing ovation when he left the arena. That's strong from an arena that gets a lot of basketball.
Now the end of the journey comes Saturday with the home finale, and it's been quite the ride.
It's crossed my mind, sometime this week, but I know Friday and Friday night and then Saturday morning, it's going to hit me.